And now, aviation weather around Alaska.
Tuesday morning, flying weather showing a big area of IFR out here with that big storm coming into the Bering Sea there, with the southwest coast still in the VFR zone down to Bristol Bay, right on up into the Chukchi Sea. IFR areas of here from over the eastern and east central interior areas, actually along the Alaska Range northward into the Brooks Range, and some IFR down over the southeast interior with the Panhandle, marginal VFR with IFR off to the east. And for the afternoon, this area of IFR pushes in along the coast here for Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta and western Togiak Bay, down across the Alaska Peninsula, and with the front from the eastern Aleutians back toward Atka Island. VFR under high pressure over the western and central interior areas. Still some lingering marginal VFR tomorrow afternoon on the east side, and not too bad breaking out here for the southeast coast. A lot of VFR showing up, Gulf of Alaska, Prince William Sound, Kodiak Island. And then for the day Wednesday morning, IFR sliding into southwest Kodiak Island. This front here pushing inland, starting to break up a little bit here with one portion pushing off to the north, this portion kind of sliding off to the east here, and IFR back in toward the central Aleutians. VFR, central interior, eastward, still some IFR in the eastern slopes, the southern slopes of the eastern Brooks Range. Good VFR down across the southeast coast. And that holds into the afternoon as well from Yakutat on down. VFR through Wednesday afternoon. IFR along and south of the central and western Brooks Range, so about from the northwest coast, Noatak Valley, into the Koyukuk Valley, another band here, south coast of the Seward Peninsula into the Bering Strait. IFR southeast Bering Sea into Bristol Bay, and making a little headway here into Kodiak Island, and then down along the Alaska Peninsula back to the eastern Aleutians. And for the passes, Anatuvik and Adigan, occasional IFR tomorrow, becoming more of a marginal VFR pattern. So look for some improvement for both passes in the afternoon. And for Lake Clark and Merrill, VFR on either approach. Same forecast for rainy, good VFR for Tuesday. Windy, VFR. Starting out marginal for Isabel, then becoming VFR, probably from the morning hours, mid to late morning through the afternoon. Mentasta, marginal VFR at times the entire day, and for Tanita, VFR, Portage VFR, and marginal VFR for Chilkoot and White. Freezing levels here at the surface, just south of the North Gulf Coast, down across the southern Panhandle, 2,000 to 4,000 feet there, from about northern Dixon entrance down across the Queen Charlottes. And you can see out here to the west, south and southwest flow pushing warmer air up into the western Bering here, over 6,000 feet into the west central Aleutians. And for icing, big area of considerable moderate rime icing here, moving from west-southwest to east-northeast here, approaching the coast, and definitely getting into Nunivak Island tomorrow afternoon, extending down to the Alaska Peninsula and just south of St. Lawrence Island, and also over the eastern Aleutians. Icing free, western central interior, and some lingering light to isolated moderate rime or mixed icing here over the northeast part of the state, and also the east side, slow to move out, as well as the southern southeast coast. And the jet stream here, upper level trough shifting eastward here, or coming in toward the Panhandle, so that pushing the stronger jet off to the east. Behind it, good northwest flow across interior Alaska up to 130 knots right across Cook Inlet and the Kenai Peninsula. And then out to the west, strong southwest flow here, 155 knots across the southern Bering Sea, back down toward the Aleutians. Taking a look at 9,000 feet, strong winds here, western central Bering Sea, 70 to 85 knots, pushing in from the southwest. Higher pressure, much lighter winds over the interior, and some windy conditions to start, southern Cook Inlet, Kamishak Bay, and Kodiak Island, 30 to 40 knots there, but that diminishing through the afternoon. Southwest, 35 knots for the eastern north slope. And pretty light here for the Panhandle. 3,000 feet, again, light winds for the southeast coast, Gulf of Alaska, much of the interior up to the Arctic coast. Strongest winds here out over the Bering Sea, the Aleutians, Alaska Peninsula, 65 to 75 knots there for the Fox Islands. South 70 knots approaching St. Lawrence Island. And southwest, quite a big area there of 60 to 75 knot winds. Turbulence, severe turbulence, surface 5,000 feet for the western Aleutians there, and considerable moderate turbulence for the Aleutians, Pribilofs, down to the Alaska Peninsula, and this building along the southwest coast, especially into the afternoon hours and extending northward to the Bering Strait, and some diminishing light to isolated moderate turbulence here for maybe the Copper River Basin and south central Alaska, Kodiak Island. Smooth for the southeast coast.